Hello, good afternoon everyone. Welcome to Liquid Brain. So today I want to walk through how you can actually code a very basic Shiny app, which is an interactive website-based environment where you can actually do something like this. With something like when you plot out a plot, you can actually change the size of the point as well as the shape of the point after you have done the exporting. So this can also be applied to such as changing the perplexity of a TSNE plot, where you can actually just use a slider to decide what perplexity that you want to use for the plot later. So there's two ways to do this. First one is in-code rendering. I'm not too sure the exact word for this, but what it means is that you put the code directly in a RStudio Shiny runtime, where RStudio will handle the running, and then you will actually code everything into a viewer. So this is more applicable for people with smaller data that's easier to manage, where you don't have a lot of UI environment left and right and all that thing. Okay, you can also do it through something a little bit more complicated, which is through a Shiny UI and a server environment. So UI stands for user interface. So this is where you need something like a more complicated input and output, and you have more selection, and you need to be able to have more control of where the plot is arranged, and having multiple tabs or for multiple things, so on. So for a little bit more of a complicated project. Okay, so let's get started with the basic first. So the basic is very simple. In RStudio, once you open, first thing, remember, of course, to install whatever packages that you need, and I will list the package in the video description below, or you can run through it, and when they tell you that it doesn't work, and then go and install that later. But basically, I'm only using ggplot2 and RTSNE, and any other Shiny one should be installed automatically when you start the notebook. So how do you do that is that you go to File, New File, and start a RShiny app, and just type application name. You can also create within directory. You can also create multiple files for UI and server, and so on. So we're just gonna use a single file called app.r, and you can type application name and start. Okay, so it should give you something like what you see over here. I have modified the code a little bit so that it looks nicer on mine, and I put some of my personal information in, just in case when I need to use this as a markdown file in GitHub later. And my next video is actually how to create your own page in GitHub. So subscribe to the channel will be great. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so what you need to do is that you need to have both an input panel and the render plot for it to work. So the concept is very simple. Whatever that you do not need to be shown, put in one of the R code over here, go to a settings view, go to output. Do I want to show code in output? Do I want to show output only? Or I want to show nothing and run code, or show nothing and don't run code? That's up to you. So import all your library and do all your calculations, functions, whatever over here. So here I don't want to show nothing but run code. And because it's a markdown file, you can also put a lot of description of what you have in your page over here. So I put some of my personal information, as well as where do I base this tutorial from, as well as where's my GitHub page. You can find all those links in the video description down below. Okay, so if you do want to know about Shiny documentation, you can run through here. But the basic thing about Shiny is that you need two things here. So the first one is the input panel. So input panel, we're using two panels for the first one. So the input panel, select input and slider input represent this, where a select input will give you a drop-down list. And there's a few elements that you need to have. First is the name of the input panel. This is very important. n_breaks. Keep that in mind. We'll come to that later. Our label is just basically what's appear on the top of the plot. Choices is how many choices you want in the drop down, and selected is the default choice if the user have not interact with the environment. It's quite important, because without it, your render plot later might not work properly, because it doesn't have a default value. So for slider input, similarly, just do the same, except that for choices, you do min and max, and then value and step. So for slider, that will actually default into 1, so no need to worry about the selected over here. So once you're done, your input panel is done. Then we move on to the output. So for the output, you have a render plot. So this is very simple. It's just that just a line of code that will usually print out your file when you're doing markdown. So I'm using ggplot. Faithful is kind of a inbuilt data set within R, so don't worry if you do know where to find. Just type faithful into the console, it will show up directly. Okay, and AES is just x equals to the x-axis, y equals to the y-axis. I'm using geom jitter as a way to plot my scatter plot. And the shape you can see here, your BW adjust come in. Okay, so my slider input has an ID of BW adjust on the input. Okay, so the shape will be put as input $BW adjust, because input itself, all this will actually pipe it into a list, and this will select one of the elements from the list. You can understand it like that. So size is the same, just as numeric input and breaks. Okay, so the name of the ID is completely up to you to personalize. You can actually change whatever you want. And it's called mbreaks because the previous example used it as the bin for the breaks, and I didn't actually change it. Okay, so once you run render plot, it will actually just output your plot down below, and every time you change up everything on the input here, select input changes the mbreaks, and this changes the mbrake here, and the BW adjust changes the BW adjust over here. So the second one is slightly more exciting, which is actually slightly useful because perplexity is, so for those that don't understand TSNE is actually kind of a way to run multidimensional data into two-dimensional. So the problem is that sometimes it shows cluster that is not there. So it's not like PCA where every time you run it, it's the same plot. TSNE has something called perplexity where you can adjust. So this is similar to how I always like to use the analogy. You're looking through a 3D shape, and the angle that you look at it is going to cause a different cluster, cause you to feel like there's a cluster when there isn't. So it's very important to first understand your data before you go for TSNE, and how do you select the perplexity that best represent what you want to show. So here, of course, we have labeled data. It's great. We already know what we need to do. So perplexity, when you adjust it, you can see that the clustering changes drastically every single time. And actually, if you don't have a set seed, random seed generated in, almost every single time the plot will be generated differently. Okay, so it's very important to select properly, which is why I think this is a great tool for helping us to decide which one is great. And it also looks much better than a normal R file. That makes me very happy. So that's the basics. So once we're done with the input panel and the render plot, the basics are done, but it has to be run in our environment, and it's kind of annoying. Okay, so now we want to expand our idea, and want to expand the way of how the data can be represented. So now we go into RStudio UI and server. So how it runs, if you don't really understand, server is something in the back end, while UI is something that in the front end. So UI is something you see, server is something that just processes the data, and you will never let it see the lights of day, basically. So similar to what we did just now, we do our setup where we have just import all the library and all that thing. And again, this is based on this app over here, which is actually written by a YouTube channel called Data Professor. It's quite well written, and the person is quite good looking, and he's an associate professor in Thailand, which is actually quite amazing. Okay, so first of all, it's the structure of the UI. So UI has a few elements. We're using something called fluid page because it's the one that I understand. There might be others that don't. So that the theme is just how you want the default color to look, the default font to look, the default size of each of the elements, and so on. And there's many others you can choose from. I'll link the original documentation in the description below. Okay, so the first one is the navigation page. So navigation page is whatever is on the top of the web page that we saw just now. So shiny page, let's just do that so it's easier to see. So shiny page up here on the top left corner. The main tab panel is a main tab. So this is the main tab, and we have the side panel and the main panel. Side panel is the small one on the left here, and the main panel is the main one on the right over here. And we have, of course, we can also put multiple tabs like tab panel. This is tab 2, tab 3, and you can just add more lines as follow. So yeah, nothing much here. So this is just a basic concept, which now I will actually fill whatever I need to into the column. So using the knowledge that we have done just now, which is the select input and the render plot. Okay, so select input here, we'll have a panel sidebar. So this is the exact input and output that we're looking at. So select panel, select input, you can see select input as the ID. So that's the ID that we'll pass to our server later. Label is just the label that it will show up on the plot. Choices is what do you want to show up in the drop-down list, and the selected is scattered, which is actually what is the default choice if the user doesn't do. And I believe I spelled scattered wrongly. It should be a past tense when you do scatter plot or something. Not too sure. Okay, so the second is again the same. Slider plot is what you shift from left to right and how it changes. And similarly with the same input that we have done just now. Okay, then after we have done the sidebar panel, we move on to the main panel. So main panel is on the right, which is slightly bigger. Side panel slightly smaller on the left. And you have H1, H4, which is the header 1 and header 4. So this is just the text. So if you deal with HTML, you kind of understand H1 is the bigger one, H4 is the smaller one, and this will be based on the theme that we selected earlier. What is the size and the color. Okay, we can have a plot output, which is dist plot. So dist plot is the object. Yes, I understand they put it in double quotes, that's confusing, but this plot is the object that we'll do in the server later. And we also have tab 2 and tab 3, which is in progress because I haven't put in anything yet. Okay, so now let's move on to the server. So how we do that is that what we have just now of the ID, which is select plot and shape, will be listed as input at select input $sign and the ID. Okay, so the first one is that we select plot, which is the selected plot on the drop down. If it's equals to a jitter, we do a jitter. If it's scattered, we do a point, and if a line, we do a line. And the shape and color will be based on the slider that we did over here. And it's just a simple if-else plot. That's nothing much. But again, same. This whole thing will be wrapped in a render plot, as in what we see just now with the basic Shinny app. And we just pass everything into output at this plot, which again will be passed back to the UI through this plot. So the UI passed the selected value, which is the type of plot and the shape of plot, into the server. Server process the data, plot it out, and then pass it back to the UI, where the UI will show whatever that you are seeing here on the screen. Okay, and last, because this is actually a script file, so the UI and server doesn't run, as you can see in my output environment, it doesn't run in an RShiny environment. So what you need to do is actually use this function, RShiny app, UI equals UIs and server is equal to server, to actually start it. So when you actually press on run, you will actually create a new window that you can see is the same window that we have seen just now with the thing. So the great thing about it is that if I want to, let's say I want to do the different UI. So if I want a basic UI, I can just run the UI here and then go back to my Shinny app, and we will get the most basic one that we have. And we want to change the UI on the fly. Let's say we have two chunks of codes and we want to see what's the difference between them. This will be a much easier way to do that as well, compared to the basic that we done just now. So that's basically a very basic Shinny app. I'll try to do something a little bit more complicated next time, but hopefully this gives you a good start on how to actually code your own. And next week I'm trying to do how to actually do your own GitHub page. So that's it for this week. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one. Again, every code will be on GitHub. Just download it and run it on your own computer and tell me what you think. And I'm still very new to this, if you're still watching. If I do anything wrong, or is there any best practice, or is there any good example that you do want me to have a look at, just send an email or leave a comment down below. For now, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.